Get ready for some crazy talk with your host Sean McCully, the Crazy Hunter, on www.podcastdfw.com. Warning, crazy talk is not for the faint of heart or the politically correct. It's where you can hear anything and nothing's taboo. Now here's the Crazy Hunter, Sean McCully.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sean McCully, the Crazy Hunter. I'd like to welcome you to Crazy Talk. And, you know, you've been following us, you know Crazy Talk is a little bit crazy. And usually we have cocktails while we're doing this, but since we're at the lovely Ruka Gym in the morning, we're not doing our usual cocktail party while doing the show. But I'm with one of my favorite person in the world to have cocktails with, Jason Parillo.
Hi, Shawnee.
Thank you, brother. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on.
The honor's all mine, man. All mine.
How long ago did we meet? I'm
41, and we met when I think I was 12. I was 12, you were 13, I think.
All right, so we're fucked, man. We're old.
Yeah.
That's making it, because I'm older than you, and I'm not even going to mention that. So anyway, one of my best friends for life. The guy is one of the best mixed martial arts coaches in the business, best stand-up coach in the business, boxing instructor.
I'm a boxing guy.
You're a boxing guy, and a hell of a boxing guy.
I'm a boxing guy.
You know what? You've been a karate guy, you've been a kickboxing guy, and you've been a professional boxer, so you have a broad perspective on the striking arts as far as I'm concerned, and, you know, you are one of the best. And
thanks, Sean.
You know
Thanks,
what?
Man.
One of the things a lot of people might know about you, you're you know, world famous as a trainer, but you are also, you know, an undefeated professional boxer. And in my book, you were gonna be one of the best ever. But you had an injury that pulled you out of the ring prematurely while you're undefeated and a rising star. So let's talk a bit about that, if you don't mind. If I can open a wound, an old wound.
That's not even. I mean, it's not something I overly think about, I guess, that much anymore. Only because I think maybe at the end of the day, I probably climbed to a higher level as a coach. I think I'm not sure if I would. I like to think I would have climbed to that same level as a fighter, and I appreciate you saying so. I really appreciate you saying that, and I like the. I like my ego to feel that I would have been at the top of the game, and maybe I would have.
There's no maybe in it, bro. You're the athlete that you are, even now to this day. I think it would have been impossible not to have your name up there with, you know, the guys like Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. Had things been you know, different and gone differently for you, and you hadn't had like some devastating injuries, and, you know, the eye thing, the arm thing, things went a little bit.
If I stayed on the bars.
Well, no, man. That gives you half of your appeal, and I really don't know any fighter who doesn't, you know, have the occasional party episode. I mean, if you just take how many guys have been, I don't know, what do you call it, reprimanded for substance abuse in mixed martial arts, suspended, fine, those kind of things. So, you know, fighters are a crazy bunch. Anybody who's going to get up in their underpants and, you know, fist fight somebody for money has a couple screws loose, and I'm happy to have been in that club, and I know that you are too. Yeah. Like I said, this is Crazy Talk, so most of my guests are crazy guys in their own right, and you're one of them, man.
Thanks, man.
We've had such good times together. I don't know if a 20-minute podcast could even touch on that, but like you said, we've been friends for close to 30 years now. Jeez, that's kind of nuts.
It's 30 years. No,
wow, close. Right 28.
Yeah, 28 years.
28 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
28 years.
Wow.
Sorry.
So
this is Crazy Talk, but we can swear on this thing, right?
Well, you know, we might have our producer director, the lovely Lori Poloni, edit it a little bit because I do let the F-bombs fly every now and then, and it's almost subconscious at this point.
But it's too much. Too much after. Wait, you gotta. One fucks for every 3 words, or 2 fucks for every 3 words.
Well, you know, one of our disclaimers to the show is nothing's taboo and nothing's off limits. So I guess being a little bit profane isn't going to.
But all profans could get too much.
Yeah, you know, it could be. But you know, we're both fathers now, so we kind of look at things a little bit differently. And you know.
Yeah, my daughters are watching this.
You're the father of two lovely twin girls.
Yes.
And they're creeping up on that age where they're going to start bringing boys home, man. And I'm scared for those boys. Yeah, and they better be scared, as a matter of fact.
You know what's funny, because that's obviously that's the first thing everybody says to me. Obviously, is Carmi, you got twin daughters, you know, the whole 9 yards. But I mean, I'm my father's son. I have a sister. I never saw my father freak out on my sister, and I understand what it is. Hey, listen, they're human beings, and actually, you know what? It even stands on this side. Sean McCully said this to me when I probably was in the 9th grade, 10th grade, and you can edit this out if you want to, but he was talking about his mom, actually. He was talking about his mom, and, you know, since his mom and dad had separated, you know, she had to go out, she went on dates, you know, and he's like, I don't know, it's something that my brother can handle, but for me, he's like, my mom's a fucking human being. She needs to fucking get laid too. You know, he said just like that.
That is true.
And I'm like, I mean, that opens up a big window right there for me. I'm like, you know what, you're right. And not saying that about my daughters. Hey, they're human beings. They need to get laid too. I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, they are human beings. I'm not worried about it. Hey, man, I'm not worried about it. I love them. See, I think the girls that have a big disadvantage in life and big disadvantages in their dating life is when they don't have a father in their life that loves them. And unfortunately that happens, and I feel bad for those girls, but the best thing I feel I can do for my daughters is not be overprotective, but be more than lines of there for them and love them and supportive of them and that, you know, that direction. I mean, I do have, as crazy as I have been my whole life, dude, there's some common sense that does hit my brain when it comes to kids, and I think if I go too much to one way, if I was overprotective.
Well, you're a generous, loving father, and I think you're maybe more understanding because of some of your life experiences, you know, and you've been around the block and around the world and been able to travel and be exposed to all kinds of different people, and you know, you're a good father. You're doing an excellent job with some really pretty twin girls.
Thanks, man. You do a great job with your kids yourself, man.
Thanks. I try. I do try. It's a challenge daily. Man, so kids, and oh my goodness, you know what? Let's my man here, the bachelor of all bachelors, has just recently asked his longtime girlfriend to marry him. Let's talk a little bit about that.
What?
I did.
Yes.
Do that.
Oh, my producers chimed in because she didn't even know.
I love her. You're so lucky.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
It's about fucking time.
Yeah. So
it's Jesus Christ.
You know, Carissa's a beautiful lady. Let's hear a little bit about your new fiance, bro.
Very smart, very down to earth girl, very beautiful. Could have 10 times the guy that I am. She can have any dude she wants.
No, there's no such thing as 10 times the guy you are. Nobody's the man you are, my friend.
Well,
she's a lucky girl.
But, you know, at the end of the day, she, later guys. At the end of the day, she, yeah, I'm fortunate. I'm lucky. You know, I'm very lucky. Marriage has never been something that I was planning on doing probably in my life. But, this one I just couldn't let go. So
yeah, you know, when you got a good one, you need to keep them. You
gotta hold them.
You gotta hold them.
If she's coming on. She just turned 31. I'm gonna be 42. It's not like I'm not getting any younger. I've lived probably half my life already. She's
come on.
She's coming up on. She's coming up on that, hey, I need a baby, that type of thing, and she wants to get married. Every girl, I mean, and I get it.
Well, you guys will make pretty kids. The ceremony
aspect of getting married and all that stuff has never been something that I was planning on doing. But if it's just, I guess it's just simple paperwork, really. At the end of the day, is that what it is, Lori? Mm-hmm. That ring is what's most important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the ultimate compliment that you can give.
Compliments, the ultimate compliment. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and she does. She's great with my kids. You know, she's great all around. So I'm very lucky.
Has he ever asked a girl to marry him?
No.
Have
you? You've never? You know, over the years,
No, I was never going to get married.
No, I don't think. You've seen.
I've lived with 5 girls, and I never.
You've never gotten to that.
Yeah, hey.
It's time to really seal the deal.
Well, I think it's always there. When you're living with
you
somebody. You
cohabitated and lived in sin, is what you're saying.
Yeah, when you're living that way, yeah. And when you're living that way, you're thinking to yourself, there's only one direction this can go: marriage, or no more of this. And then it's like I've spent a lot of times spending a good extra not waste, but a good extra 2 years of figuring out which direction I'm going to go. And then it ends up going to obviously south, and they move out. With Corissa, I plan on holding on to her, and she's holding on to me. So at the end of the day, that's going to work out nice. We're going to get married. Fuck it. Maybe not for another 3, 4. I was probably going to go on the. See, you were
doing the long-term engagement.
Yes.
You were doing,
and that's all that she really. You know what? That's all she really wants. I mean, not that all she wants. She obviously wants to get married, but she wasn't saying, "Hey, we got to get married next month." But she's like, that's something that I want, and I got to know that it's going to happen. It's not like I figured. That was the hard part. The proposal was hard.
You know what? You jumped your first hurdle, bro. That's. Oh boy, that's. So from the peanut gallery, I got another question proposed. How did you propose?
I'm glad that what's nice about this is an easy conversation as opposed to having fucking. We don't have to talk about work shit, fighting. We're talking about my love life. I love that. I'm kidding.
I just wanted.
Well, I'm going to be honest.
I wanted to show the layers of who Jason is.
I don't know if she necessarily wants me saying it on a radio show, but I'll go with it because at the end of the day,
if it's something private that you don't want out there, man, we'll.
It's not private. It's not private. It's okay.
I was just wondering if there was some overblown romantic gesture. That,
you know what?
How did you do it?
Because of not. I don't think if I was going to plan my proposal, I would never propose. At the end of the day, I got to do it on. It's like anything. If there's interviews like this interview, I wouldn't even look at those. Like when you wrote those questions down, I don't even want to look over and see them because I don't even want to think about it. I'd rather just go on the cuff. You know what I mean? That's like how because not that it's more real that way. I just go off my emotions and how I feel. I guess. As I was her birthday falls on the 23rd of December. Christmas obviously is the 25th of December. Makes it the last 4 years made it very difficult. Christmas having 2 big holidays and gift giving at the end of the day. And
did you feel like last year she was expecting it or something?
Yeah, I think last year
the pressure was on?
I definitely disappointed her last year, and I definitely felt with her. When I say, what do you want for Christmas and your birthday, there's really no direction she points to other than the ring on her finger. Really, at the end of the day, and not that she's pressuring me, because some girls here give ultimatums. She just let me know what is really important to her. So as I go get, I was going to go for a diamond earrings or a necklace of some sort, and I went, and I'm thinking to myself, there's only one thing she wants. Okay, I'm gonna look at necklaces. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking about the whole situation. I'm like, fuck. I can't. If she opens up a fucking pair of fucking earrings, she's gonna fucking shit her pants. Like,
yeah,
fuck
you'd spend a couple of grand. You spend a couple of grand on a pair of earrings, and she opens up a jewelry box thinking there's a ring in there and there's earrings in there.
No,
they could be 2 carats a piece, and she's gonna be pissed off at you.
I mean, I would be better off giving her a fucking a sweatshirt from Ruka fucking store in here. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if she sees jewelry and it's not a fucking ring, she's gonna fucking be devastated. She'll pretend like she's happy, I'm sure. I mean, she'll at least, have the care, hey, thank you, I love you, this is great, but she's not gonna sleep that night. Anyways, I'm playing all this stuff in my head. I'm talking to the jeweler. Obviously, he's gonna push for the fucking wedding ring, right? And so one thing leads to another. I bite the bullet, I get the ring. Now we're on her birthday. This is the day before her birthday. Now we're on her birthday, and I'm like, I was gonna wait till Christmas. I had no premeditated plan because I already thought that I was going with a fucking pair of earrings or a necklace. And I had talked to my brother's girlfriend, who said, she even said, she
put it in my head like,
whatever she opens up is going to be a disappointment.
If it's not
a ring. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all I got to do is, I don't need to get married next month. I don't need to get married in 6 months even. And if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. It's just whatever. What's important to her is the fact that I crossed that line. Like Lori said, it's the biggest compliment a girl can be given is to ask her for her hand in marriage. So I go for it, I get it. And now I'm like, wait a minute, I don't got any romantic things to go off of this because obviously that's very poor. Like, what am I like? I don't have a horse and you know what I mean? I don't have a game plan. I don't even have dinner fucking reservations. You know, so
what did you do? Barbecue and drop to a knee in the backyard? How'd this work out?
No,
man?
so she's just sad. It's her birthday, and I can tell she's sad. I'm like, so where are we gonna go to dinner? Because she already thinks in her head, there's no way this is happening. So we're gonna go to dinner. I said, let's go get a Korean barbecue. I think I was talking about. So let's go. And I mapped something on the thing that I thought to myself, said, fuck it. So I started driving. I'm driving to her old work. When we first met, I met her at her work. She worked for KDOC. It was a local TV station that's here in LA, San Diego, and Orange County, and she was a host on the TV show. When we first met, I went and met her there. When I pulled up to the parking lot, when I first met her, she was driving a piece of shit Acura, like this old 96 fucking piece of shit. You know, and I pull up, and I actually was in a rental car because my car was in the shop, and I pull up to the side of her in the parking lot, and I look at her and I say, I'm fucking marrying this girl. I mean, she don't give a fuck. I open the door to my car and I look at her and I go, hey, do you realize you could be driving a Ferrari right now? Do you understand that? And she just starts laughing. She's like, what? You know, obviously she was like, oh, of course I could be driving a Ferrari. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she's from Maryland. She's not here from California. She's got a little different values. I'm not saying that values are better. They're just different. Like, cars obviously aren't the most important thing, I think, in the East Coast. But at the end of the day, I just like, hey, you realize you can be driving a Ferrari right now? Because I know, whatever. So that was kind of our first, knowing, because I never met her outside the gym. I met her in the gym as she was interviewing Tito, one of my fighters.
Ortiz.
Yeah, for something. That's how I met her. But regardless, I pull up there and I see her, and then we had that conversation. Well,
so like, Jason, this is a love at first sight situation. You literally looked at the woman and you decided at the moment that you've laid eyes on her that you were gonna marry her.
And I actually had told her up in Big Bear when I first was spitting my game at her when I first met her up at Big Bear. I had told her that's the first thing in my mind. I would never get married. Like, it wasn't even part of my game. I wasn't even planning to try to pick it. Like, in my mind, I didn't think that was a thought of mine. And obviously she sparked that thought. But here we go. We're going to dinner on the night of her birthday. And I go, so let's go. I'm driving. I actually mapped out KDOC because it was that parking lot. I remember that story. I remember how I felt in my head when I saw her, when I said to myself out loud. So I go I'm driving, I'm acting like I'm looking for the restaurant, and I go, fuck it. I pull in because I know she doesn't know that I'm looking at the maps because I don't remember where the KDOC is, down in Santa Ana. And I pull in the KDOC parking lot, and right as I pull in the parking lot, she goes, oh my God, babe. Oh my God. You know where we're at? I'm like, what? She goes, do you know where we're at? I'm like, no. She goes, this is where we first met. This is where we first met up. I'm like, oh, thank God. In the back of my mind, I'm like, cool. This is going somewhere.
It was a good segue.
Yeah, this is a good segue. She goes, oh my God, this is where we first met. I'm like, wait a minute. And I pulled in where she was parked. And I go, I remember you were parked right here. And she goes, yeah. And I jump out of my car. I roll down her window, her passenger window, first before I jumped out of my car. Then I turned the car off and I jumped out. I ran over to where I was parked. I go, I was parked right here, and you were parked right there. She goes, yeah. Now she's starting to look at me a little weird. I'm like, I fucking remember. Because I remember sitting in my car. And I remember thinking to myself, when I saw you in that piece of shit Acura you're driving, all I could think to myself was, I'm going to marry this girl one day. And she's looking at me crazy. Then I walk up and I open up the car door. I get down on one knee and I go into my riddle. And then she's just fucking drenched in tears, obviously, at this point. And I'm like, this is going exactly the way I needed to go.
Pretty slick, pretty romantic right there, buddy.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You might lose your tough guy card on being that romantic, but I'm not, that's
not bad.
That's pretty sweet, dude. That's a pretty sweet story.
Yeah, it was. It was good, and she was, and she just, like, it was perfect. Because, like, she's critical, man. If it didn't go in a way like that, I think any girl, Girls don't want to be at a barbecue, like you said. Matter of fact, the ironic part, this is where my personality is. As I'm talking to the jewelry girl, she goes, okay. I go, okay. She goes, how are you going to go about it? I said, you know what? What would you think if I got a cock ring? If I got a cock ring and put it in a fucking jewelry box, and I handed her the cock ring.
This is crazy talk, ladies and gentlemen.
And I gave her the cock ring, and I go, babe, you said any ring. You didn't care if it was a gumball ring, if it was a fucking diamond ring. You don't care if it was cubic zirconium, whatever the fuck it is. What is it called? But at the end of the day, you wanted a ring, and I got you a ring. Here's a cock ring. And then as she's just crying in disappointment and hates my guts, that's when I pull out the fucking diamond ring and go, just kidding. Will you marry me? Which way do you think I went? Better? Do you think my way was better, or should I went that way?
I'm gonna go with the romantic idea with the roll down the window thing. You know, I think you did it the right way for her. To me. I honestly do like the idea of the cock ring idea, but that's just because I have a dark sense of humor. Yeah. Again, crazy talk. What are we doing? One of my craziest, coolest friends in the world. Congratulations, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I can tell you're genuinely excited about this. I'm excited. It's a good thing, dude. You're taking a big step in life, man. That's awesome.
I remember my older brother when he married his wife, who's together with her for 15 years, 20 years before they got married. He's like, I remember him being emotional and crying at this wedding. I'm thinking to myself, and he's like, oh, I'm so happy I did this for her. I know how important it is for her because, I mean, obviously he's the same blood as me. We're our father's son. We grew up in marriage probably isn't the best fucking call in life. You know what I mean? This is the way I grew up thinking.
Well, we're children of divorce and multiples, actually.
And then when you see how important it is to them, you really realize at the end of the day, it is the most important to them. And if you love them that much, you might as well give them what they want and hold on to it for a minute because what the fuck? Where am I going?
Yeah, you know? No, you're exactly right, man. I'm actually going on one of those probably longest engagements of life myself. I've been with my longtime girlfriend, Anna Martindale, and we've been had our ups and downs. You know, poor girl has weathered the storm of putting up with me for 8 years, and we've been engaged for about half that. So after this show, Jay, you actually just put a whole fuckload of pressure on me. Thanks a lot, buddy. And, since she does listen to all my shows and everything else, she's going to go like, your best friend, buddy, Jason did it. And, he's as crazy as you are.
That's what it is, too. It's like everybody, even I was just talking to Brady, who was he's like, I go, hey, what's your chick say? It fucking... Dude, Jason fucking Parillo fucking proposed it? You fucking asshole. Like, because a lot of these other girls are putting pressure on their dudes. You know what I mean?
They're like, well, if Jason asked Corissa, that guy was a lifer. He was a bachelor for life. He was a bachelor for life. We never thought he was going to get tied down to anybody. I mean, this is, but you know what? I think you made the right decision. Not only is she a beautiful girl, she's super down to earth. She's smart. A lot of times when you get really beautiful girls like her, they don't have any brains and... I'm not saying that. I'm not stereotyping
it's almost
here.
A problem, though.
But to be with somebody like you, you're coyote smart. You're a very intelligent man. So for you to have a relationship with a woman, the woman has to have some substance, has to have some depth. And I think that your lady is that lady, man. She can do her thing, and
she appreciates you saying that also.
And if she can stand up to you and stand you for this long, she actually should be Saint Corissa.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. It's really true. I'm a fucking pain in the ass.
I love it. I love it. Since this is crazy talk, and we have gone off on a little bit of a tangent, man. I wanted to bring it back around to some stories. Fighting. LA boxing. You were my wingman during the infancy of LA boxing. You did everything from help me build the place, drywall the walls. Yep. We built our own boxing ring from some plans from some old guy, and we literally
from equipment from an old fitness place.
Yeah, we scrapped together the first LA boxing, and Jason Parillo was instrumental and a key player in the early LA boxing, and you're one of the guys who made it such a success. And you know, I always love and appreciate you for that. And let's, you know,
Yeah, LA
but
boxing.
let me get it.
was
Let me
huge
get. Let me
how
just
big
for
that
an
got, huh?
anecdote. Let me get an LA boxing story that stands out in your mind. Something.
Oh my God.
It's
dude.
kind of hard to narrow them down, but give me a good one.
How crazy you want? Do you want it on a?
Well, we might want to
what side
change
of the
the
fence?
names to protect the guilty, but other than that,
Fighting. Like you want some like illegal stories or?
I don't know.
God, how do you remember that?
I don't know if we I don't know if we want to go from
No,
Jason's marriage proposal to Jason
You know,
being
it's not-
stalked by clientele because he's handsome.
Yeah, but it's nothing I really did with it. It's not like I did anything, but it was pretty trippy. You want to hear that one? That was not a bad one. I could tell that one or tell. That was legal. That was pretty legal, huh? Legal and mellow.
It was legal-ish.
Yeah, it's not that exciting though, really.
Okay, give me another exciting one. I want to hear one. If that's not exciting, which I thought.
Well, one of the things that I always
that
found
was, I forgot she took her clothes off and shit and started hitting the bag. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
that was a little okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Nigel loved
Well,
it.
I always noticed it was funny. The prettier the girl was, the more skills Jason had. All of a sudden, my stand-up boxing coach, who I started training Jason, and then Jason trained me. He was one of he's the best corner man I ever had. Trained me for
man,
fights.
thanks.
Those kind of things.
Where to
you
go?
know.
Me and Sean are lifers together in this shit.
We've been all over the world together doing this thing, and one of the things that I found interesting is the prettier the clientele, the more jiu-jitsu you knew. We had like 2 black belts in jiu-jitsu at the time, you know. Myself, I was
Why's
a
a boxing
brown
coach
belt.
teaching
I'm like,
jiu-jitsu?
it's really funny. He's got at least a hard 9 in the ring, and he's in her guard. All of a sudden, Jason's teaching jiu-jitsu. How'd that happen? I just that was. You would be a jiu-jitsu coach for the.
Hey, I did what I
females.
needed to do to make sure that these people feel like they're getting the best out of the workout. You know what I mean? Make sure everybody feels. You know, you want to. If she wanted to kick,
She wanted to be a well-rounded martial artist.
Yeah, she wanted to be well-rounded.
She wanted to wrestle and then date, but that's another story.
What's
So
I'm trying to think of I want to think of the lady's name. Do you remember the lady's name? She was a Newport Beach. Plastic. She had all that. She had the $50,000 grill. She had it all. I mean, she was middle-aged, drove a nice car, had a nice house, and had a really different. She paid me good money to train her, but it was just a different. It was different. I could tell that she was kind of
wanted
that
a
sugar
little
mama
more
type
than
of
training.
mentality. But I kept it clean. Always kept it clean because I mean. I would have made more money continuing to train her than, having a weekend fucking of
Tryst.
Yeah, whatever. It did, and I would have felt like I actually, like you said, we were talking a minute ago. I was indulging in other things and whatever and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm training a girl that I used to train, one of those Sutra waitresses, and Monica, was it Monica?
Sutra's a club here in Orange County with very attractive waitresses, a lot of them were members of the club.
Yeah, a lot of them were.
Particularly took my man Jason's class.
Yeah, it was Melissa. So Melissa, I'm training Melissa, and the lady walks in, and she's like, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And she comes walking up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm training Melissa. She's getting really close to us. I'm going, what's going on? And she just gets right in Melissa's face, dead look in the eyes, and says, stay the fuck away from him. And I'm like,
creepy.
I'm like, whoa.
But you weren't. Melissa was like a friend and a
she
client,
was my friend,
and
exactly. That's what made me even. It made me even more like, whoa. I'm like, this is my friend. This is a girl I'm training. Like, what are you talking about? She go, he's got kids, and like, I mean, she started like, I'm like, going, what the fuck are you doing? And then all of a sudden, it dawns on me, she seems to be a little tipsy. I'm like, wait a minute, and she's talking. I'm like, no, and I walk her outside. I'm like, look, I'll talk to you, whatever, don't worry about it. I separated, and Melissa feels uncomfortable. It's just a really uncomfortable situation. So she goes out, and I go back, and she comes back with a bottle of wine. And I'm going, what? And she's like, oh, let's drink some wine. She goes, come out here. And I'm going, all right. And I walk out, I'm going, what's going on with you? You got to relax, like, you got to go. And she takes a bottle of wine, and she shatters the tip of the bottle of wine off, on the side, on the LA
the
boxing
corner
fight
of the
outside.
Monument side?
Yeah, on the Monument side. Glass everywhere, starts guzzling the wine out of the broken glass head. Wine's going all over her shirt. She hands it to me and goes, "Take a sip."
Which
and
was super weird because she was wearing a
hilarious.
white top and had very well-enhanced breasts.
Nothing more weird than the fact that I
that's
took
the part of the
sip.
memory that sticks out.
I mean, the whole thing was weird, but there's nothing more weird than the fact that I actually took the sip.
You snatched the bottle and said thanks, too.
I thought it would get her out of there. Really, I did. I took her. She's like, no, she wouldn't. She refused to let me go until I took the sip. I said, okay, you got to go. So I get her a sip. So I think she gets in her car. I go back and Melissa. I'm going, whoa, and Melissa and everybody. I got Melissa. I think Nigel was in the gym. There was some few guys in the gym, and everybody just going, what the fuck was that? All of a sudden, she walks in, boom, rips off her shirt, walks in, and just starts. So she's sitting there in just a bra. Trying to think. I don't think she took her pants off though. She left her spandex pants on, but just a bra. And just starts slugging the bag like Clubber Lang from Rocky fucking 3.
Just angry punches.
Just angry punches, just gnarly. And we didn't call the cops. I think I eventually was able to get her out of there. I think I called her a cab is what I did. And the cab came, picked her up, and took her out of there. But that's a pretty bizarre story. It's really mild, though, if you ask me. There's been so many crazy stories.
I want to hear the non-mild one.
No.
I don't know how many non-mild stories we could...
Yeah, there's
Nothing's off limits.
No, that's right. This is crazy talk. Nothing is off limits. Okay, I got one. Remember when we did the show and the guys rented the place to do an MMA show, and Aaron Brink, also known as Dick Delaware. Do you remember that story?
Yeah. He started getting a blowjob in the middle of the thing or something?
Yes, all of a sudden it went from a fight card to a porn show in the gym. I'm looking over my shoulder and I see a huddle of people and I get to go stop a blowjob in process. It's all of a sudden they're doing a blowjob scene in the club. I'm like, you guys didn't pay for this.
Yeah,
that's a pretty pretty good story. Right
that was a good one.
Some of the early stories are a little nuts, and that's definitely.
Well, we're going back to the '90s.
That's
90s to the 2000s.
That might have been. Yeah, that might have been that
end of
the '90s.
That was probably 202, probably or something.
Yeah. No, earlier. You're right. I think 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Because after about 2001, I started being way more professional and expanding the brand and that kind of thing, and I kind of made a commitment to myself to make it a little less crazy, even though it got crazy everywhere. And it's a boxing gym and an MMA gym, and there's all kinds of
there's tons of crazy stuff. I mean, you could go on for. I mean, you could have a day-long conversation about the crazy shit that happened there, and like and 90% of it you don't really want your family to hear about anyway. So.
Okay, so that being said, that segues us into a break because ladies and gentlemen, this is Crazy Talk, and my man here can smoke a pack of Marlboros, drink all night, and beat everybody in camp up the hill in Hilo, Hawaii, because no matter how out of shape Jason feels, he's in better shape than you'll ever be in. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a cigarette break with my man Jason Parillo.
Thanks,
so
Sean.
For a moment, we're going to sign off because I'm having a nicotine fit.
You've been listening to Crazy Talk with your host Sean McCully, the Crazy Hunter. We'll be right back.
Hashadit.com, today's #1 hashtag search engine. A hashtag is a # attached to a word or unspaced phrase. It unites like-minded people on things they are passionate about. At hashadit.com, you'll be able to search or share your unique experiences with others. Hash away on your favorite social sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. At hashadit.com, get connected and experience a world that will inspire your passions and interests. And it will instantly be shared for the world to view and enjoy at hashadit.com. If you see a hashtag that interests you, enter it in our search box. Get inspired, motivated, or get educated on today's trending topics. At hashadit.com, it brings every hashtag conversation in one place, in real time. Don't forget to search for the hashtag at hashadit.com.
Now back to Crazy Talk with Sean McCully, the Crazy Hunter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crazy Talk with the Crazy Hunter, Sean McCully. I'm here with Jason Parillo, top MMA trainer, professional boxer, Renaissance man.
Renaissance.
Welcome back, Jason.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me back.
All right. Well, my producer has posed an interesting question to me, and it's a tricky one, and we can't change the names to protect the guilty here because it was us. One of our questions is, how many times have you ridden in a cop car together?
Yeah, quite a few, I guess. I mean, at least a few.
No, it was I just one sticks out in my mind.
Oh, okay. I do remember this one.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm calling you. I'm putting you on Front Street right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we got into a little fight. I got into a little fight in a bar, and Jason, being my bestest of pals, helped me out with a nice right hand to a super tall guy who ended up with a bad headache. And shortly thereafter, the Newport Beach police were there to escort us to our hotel rooms for the evening.
Yeah, prison, man. Prison.
We were doing a hard time in Newport Beach.
Newport Beach jail.
The funniest part was the ride over on the paddy wagon, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Should I get into detail, or is that crazy talk?
Yeah.
That was crazy talk.
I think about the schizophrenic chick behind us in the seat.
Well, no, there was a schizophrenic chick behind us in the seat, but there was also...
We're in a paddy wagon, actually.
Yeah, we were in the paddy wagon, and they were picking people up, and somebody had to pee, as I remember.
Okay, let me set it up, too, just a little bit, because... First of all, I was actually the first guy in the paddy wagon. I was in there with the schizophrenic girl that was in the little cage behind us. And as I looked up, I got to pee. And I'm asking one of the officers in the car, I go, hey, man, I got to pee. I got to fucking pee. He's like, oh, you're going to have to wait till we get to the police station. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. I'm like, I can't wait. And also I look up and I see Sean walk up to the car with handcuffs on. I'm just going... Yeah, I was ecstatic.
At least I'm not going
alone. I was so happy to go to jail with a buddy because I've always been the guy to go to jail by myself, and I know Sean probably has too. But we happened to be in the same place at the same time, so it worked out. We both got to go together.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we're in there. Sean gets in there, and he sits next to me, and I'm like, Sean, I'm gonna fucking piss my fucking pants, dude. He's like, no, dude, no. He's like, you can hold it. And I'm like,
you can make it, bro. You can make it. I was begging.
Make it. I couldn't make. I remember I straightened my right leg out, kind of towards this, because there's steps in the paddy wagon to get in. So I had my leg just straight out. I felt like I was shifted over to the right side of my leg in my pants. So I just let that fucker go, and it sounded like a water hose hitting the because it's got the metal floor because it's a paddy wagon. It sounded like a hose just hitting the fucking. It was
bouncing everywhere and getting on the seat, and there was a little reservoir where we put our hands with our handcuffs. So for the rest of the ride to our hotel room for the evening, I think I was squat hovering over, trying not to rest myself in my best pal's pee on the way to.
Fortunately, it wasn't a leg day for you.
It was a leg day for me. So I was holding a squat, going, "You son of a bitch! I'm getting your pee on me."
Yeah. And that happened. We ended up getting thrown in that tank together.
Yeah, we ended up getting thrown in the tank, and having been in the tank the few times or handful of times that we both had, we walked in, gave everybody the stare in the face. I snacked the roll of toilet paper from some cholo type looking guy and used it as a pillow and told him that it was our house now. And Jason proceeded to take off his pants that were wet. They needed to dry. And it was cold. So to stay warm, my man starts shadowboxing, which I don't find that odd because you've got a guy who's built like a tripod shadowboxing, pretty naked. And now these guys who started out sort of tough are freaking the fuck out and on the walls, and I'm laying down with the toilet paper roll as my pillow watching my buddy shadowbox naked. So shortly thereafter, they went ahead and put us in our own hotel room because I think we were scaring the natives. And somebody came along, and again, I don't want to put anybody on Front Street that could get in trouble, but it was an officer that we had known who was a friend of the program, if you will, and he said, "Guys, come on, let me put you over here with, so you don't get bothered by these guys." And it was nice how he said, "We won't get bothered by these guys," since we were really the bother. But anyway, it was an interesting evening, and we got picked up by
The funny thing to me is what all I could think of the next day is after we got out of jail, I was thinking to myself, and I couldn't stop laughing when I told the story, because what made me laugh is yes, I was a naked guy shadow boxing in fucking jail. But at the end of the day, the guys that were watching me in jail, they went home going, what the fuck? Dude, we were in jail? This dude was naked shadow boxing. I mean, we thought we were going to get raped, and we're in a fucking goddamn holding
We're in a holding tank, and I got a guy walking around like a fucking like a baby's arm holding an apple shadow boxing. It was a sight. It was a sight. I gotta tell you.
I just couldn't imagine what their story is on it. You know what I mean? I just what a weird thing.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to be a fly on the wall having one of those guys tell that story, actually.
Yeah.
But you know. No, I don't think we even got meals at that point.
We got early.
We got in. We did our 8 hours or so, and they, you know, kicked us loose with the court date.
Yeah, one of the cops used to come to LA Box and actually came and let us out at we're the first ones out at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, and then the trouble started because at the time I was married and you were living with somebody, and we had to get picked up by, I think it was your...
Yeah, it was my somebody.
Yeah, your somebody picked us up, so we spent the rest of the day getting reprimanded by our women.
Yeah.
Well, enough for the... That's a crazy story for crazy talk, and you know, naked shadow boxing.
Yeah.
But you know, let's get to the here and nows. The here and nows are, you know, you have two very special people fighting, you know, right now. Basically, tomorrow you got a weigh-in at Punishment for Cris Cyborg, who's defending her Invictus title. Invicta or Invictus? Am I saying it wrong?
Invicta FC.
Invicta FC. She's defending her title at the hangar here in Orange at the Orange County Fairgrounds, and that's tomorrow night.
Yep,
and,
January 16th.
And we're looking for. I think we're looking for another big, devastating win out of Cris Cyborg.
That's what we hope for, right? I mean, it should be. I mean, as long as she's and she's cutting weight real good. She's been cutting weight for a few days now, but. She looks healthy. She's obviously in the best shape of her life. Just like, you know, every fight it becomes the best shape of your life, obviously. But she really is, and she's got a tough Russian girl coming out from Russia, which we don't know a whole lot about. She's only got about 6 fights. I mean, Cris got 12. I mean, there's not, you know,
it's not a world of difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
But that's
Cris obviously has the experience.
The experience, the advantage, and the other girl is coming from another country and having to fight somebody, you know, on their turf, if you will.
Yes.
So that's always, you know, we've been those guys. So you know,
Exactly.
it's harder to fight away from home than home.
Yep.
Actually, sometimes it's harder to fight at home because you have the pressure of
yeah.
your local crowd, your fans, that kind of thing. Your friends are there.
Totally.
You know, so
yeah, but we're confident. We're confident. I think we got more ducks on our side than she does. So as long as her mind's right, I think we should have a good show. And the electricity and the energy that Cris brings into the arena when she fights is definitely something really special to see. So Orange County, you're lucky if you get to check that out.
Yeah, that's a big fight for, you know, a local fight, and we're, you know, really stoked. I'm really stoked for Cris. She's a really nice person. I had the privilege of working with her too.
Yeah, for the Gina Carano fight.
Yeah,
that was one of her biggest fights she's ever had, right there.
When she beat Gina for the Strikeforce Women's World Title, I was in her corner that night. And funny thing about when I was training Cris though was, I felt like I was a rather muscular dude. And then all of a sudden, I'm training this girl who has bigger arms than me. She got me back in the gym lifting weights. So in a way, I got to thank Cris for that. But, you know, my insecurity, I couldn't train a girl on the pads who had bigger arms than me. So I ended up back in the gym. So thanks, Cris. So, you know, I could talk to you forever and we could bullshit forever. But, you know, what I want to do is, you know, Jason, besides her, we've got Mike Bisping. Mike Bisping, I would say this is probably the biggest fight of his career. Would you say? Mike Bisping on February 27th will be fighting Anderson the Spider Silva, and he's one of my favorite fighters ever. And Mike Bisping is one of my favorite fighters and people in the world. So this is one of the first times, actually only the first time I've ever rooted against Anderson Silva, because, you know, my buddy Mike is fighting him, and of course my Crazy Talk partner here, Jason Parillo, is his chief corner man. You know.
Yeah, no, we're excited about this fight. It's a huge fight for Michael. he's been batting around the top 10 now for
years.
For a while, yeah, for a while, and he you know, he takes some steps back sometimes. He's been in, you know, he fights the best of the best, and it's a blessing. It's great that he gets to fight Anderson Silva, who obviously is known as one of the greatest of all time. It's in Michael's hometown, down in London. Obviously not his hometown, but it's in his home country. And
that's gotta be neat for you guys. That's
yeah,
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be cold, man. That's February in London, man. Bring warm clothes, man.
Yeah. No, it's a huge fight for Mike, and it'll get him a close step, you know, get him closer to the title shot. Mike's been doing it for long. He's no rookie in this game. He's definitely he's a veteran. You know what I mean? And he's still hungry enough to compete for that world title, which, you know, a lot of guys lose their heart and their hunger, and you got to give that guy a lot of credit for his mental toughness and how much it's important to him and how much he wants it.
Yeah, you know, he's fought some really devastating injuries, stuff that would end a lot of other guys' careers, and he's you know, fought through those things, and you know, I think he's up for Analyst of the Year, MMA Analyst of the Year. Right, he's a multifaceted, multi-talented individual. I like Mike a lot, and I'm really excited about this fight. I might have to get a flight and meet you guys in London just to see this. I'm excited for it.
I've had a few people actually say that. I mean, people want to come check that out. I mean, I'd love to have friends and people come out and check it out. You know, that'd be exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm actually going to make some travel plans and have to show up in England. There's a good excuse to go to merry old England and do a pub crawl afterward with my good man here, and hopefully we don't end up having the same situation where we're off in a paddy wagon, peeing in a paddy wagon and going to jail in London. Doesn't sound like that much fun. So let's try to keep it clean. We'll try to keep it clean this time. But anyway, Mike Bisping, I'm so excited about this fight. But, you know, I got to close this interview because I'm taking up way too much of your time, brother. I just want to know where people can find you, these guys, maybe these up-and-coming fighters, maybe some of the top guys who, like, don't know you, don't know how to get a hold of you. Where can people find Jason Parillo? How can they contact you? How can they
you can go to
get a private lesson with you?
Yeah, I got a website, ParilloBoxing.com. You can go on there. You can track me down there. Would be the best way. I train over at the Ruka facility in Costa Mesa, California. So
Ruka's the home gym. I mean, this is basically your house, and what a house it is.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate.
You know, that's our good friend, old friend, Pat Tenari. I would consider him a philanthropist of MMA and extreme sports as a whole. I mean, supports surfing, skating. Of course, us MMA, which is my favorite of the three sports. Surfing being a second, skating, not at all. It's too dangerous. I won't skate a ramp, but I'll get into a cage fight with a 300-pound man. I don't know. I don't know how the math works on that, but, you know, I'm Jason at ParilloBoxing.com. That's the best way for people to get a hold of you. And, you know, you make yourself available. One of the things I've always admired about you is you will, you know, I know your focus is on training professionals and training guys who compete, but you know, you've also, you know, trained the occasional civilian, as I like to call them, and guys who are just, you know, fitness interested, and people can contact you to get a private lesson and that kind of thing, and, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And if
anybody that wants to train with me, if time permits it, I'll
your schedule permits, you'll fit them in. That's 100%. Something I've always liked about you, and I mean, even for me, I come into town and you always have a few rounds to throw me on the pads, get the old guy on the pads, and, you know, a lot of people look up to you around here, look up to you in the sport, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to have one of my good friends on my show. And Crazy Talk, I think we have officially achieved it.
Nice.
You know, everything, we went from cock ring to peeing and paddy wagons, so we got it covered. So, Jason, again, thank you very much Thank you very much for joining Crazy Talk with the Crazy Hunter, and you're one of my craziest. Love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you too, Shotty.
Signing off.
Later, both.
Crazy Talk with your host Sean McCully is a www.podcastdfw.com production. The opinions of the guests and the hosts of Crazy Talk do not reflect the opinions or ideas of the www.podcastdfw.com website or Lat Media LLC.